Jim and Gail Henderson searched the internet for a mortgage and thought that this woman, Priscilla First, had the loan for them. After the deal was done, they realized they could refinance to a lower interest loan. But Miss First's company is charging a prepayment penalty. The Hendersons say that's illegal.
Let me see if I understand this correctly, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson. You're here today because you believe that Ms. First, a mortgage loan officer, put you in a bad loan that had an illegal prepayment penalty.
Well, her name may be first, but she's last in my book. Anyhow, this is how it happened, Judge. As a teacher, I've become very familiar with researching things on the internet. So when we were house hunting, I decided to look for mortgage loans online. And I found a company called creditmaster.com.
Excuse me?
And I decided to put our profile online there.
Wait a minute. You put your financial data on a website? That's no way to get a loan. Any crazy loan shark can get access to your data there.
Well, she emailed me, and she was from a very well-known company. She tells me that Gail and I can qualify for a good loan. So I say, great, tell me about it. So I figured that since we have such good credit, Gail and I have a 780 FICO score out of a possible 850, that if I put our profile up, we get the best deal possible. That's what the internet's all about. Free and open commerce, unlimited access to information, what have you. Anyhow, Miss First got us a loan with a 9.5% interest rate.
You have something to add?
Yes, Your Honor. Shortly after we bought our house, we met this couple at a party, and they were teachers like us, had the same income, and they'd bought a house similar to ours. But it sounded like their credit scores weren't as good as ours, and they still got a lower rate, like 6.5%.
Yeah, so I contacted a housing counselor with the Housing Aid Center, and she said, geez, that's a really high rate for someone with your FICO score.
Yeah, so we called Miss First back, and we said we want to get out of this loan. We want to refinance. And she said that we'd have to pay. We'd have to pay to get out of our loan right away.
We went out, Your Honor. We got a raw deal, and this penalty is just salt in our wounds.
Oh, one more thing. That other couple, they got a $10,000 grant to cover closing costs, and Miss First didn't tell us anything about grants that we would qualify for.
Ms. First is not, she's a loan officer. She's not a housing counselor. There's a big difference. Ms. First gets paid to sell you a loan. A housing counselor gets paid by a not-for-profit organization to give you objective advice. That being said, Ms. First, could you explain why there's a prepayment penalty on this loan?
It was a type of loan they were qualified for. I might add, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson are educated people. They were free to shop around for whatever other product they needed.
Did you point out to them that there was a prepayment penalty?
They're educated people. They read the documents.
They wouldn't have read the loan documents until closing. Did you explain it to them at any time prior to closing?
No, but penalties are a common practice.
Didn't you at least feel a moral obligation to inform them about other options, about provisions in the loan that might be important to them?
No, it's a free market, and I don't have to point them in the direction of another lender with other products. My boss would kill me.
Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Henderson.
This is not what Miss First told me. She said that she was looking out for our best interests. I was relieved. This isn't my area of expertise. And I was very busy with lesson plans at the time. She said, don't worry, I'm taking care of you.
Yeah, she took care of us all right. We want this prepayment penalty erased.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson, prepayment penalties are not illegal per se. And what you did here, perhaps naively, and I mean very naively, it was take a loan that wasn't the best one for you. Miss First didn't really care that you could get a better loan. She admitted that. You'll find people out there, especially on the internet, who are not going to be upfront with you. In order to protect yourself, you should get counseling before you enter into a situation as complex as getting a mortgage. This has been a really bad day for the good guys. Once again, I've got to rule in favor of a defendant who just doesn't deserve justice. People. There are housing counselors out there. They're objective. They're free. Use them. Case closed.
The mortgage market is filled with confusing and expensive products. The Hendersons obviously shouldn't have signed documents they didn't understand. They should have used a housing counselor from the very beginning. Counselors can identify hidden costs and tell you if you're eligible for special grants and incentives.